Awesome. All right, let's pull these watercolors out and see what's in there. It's been so long since I looked at it, and I've got about 5 things that need. Here we go. Raise you up a little bit. So let's look at this. See what we got from Pisgah Forest up at Black Balsam, and you can see the poster paint has a really nice color to it, and right here you can see you get some bleed with it. That was rare though, that doesn't usually happen, and I was definitely taping off the edges. This is also from the same area up at Black Balsam and under the pine trees. A lot of open space in there. I was trying. So this is also same thing, Black Balsam. My favorite forest is a pine forest, so you can see that I drew first, and then I would go in with this brush right here. It's very, it's like a sumi brush, and it's very inexpensive, $5.99, but it works so well. You know, you just, once it's worn out, you buy another one because it's so cheap. But I never had to buy another one because it just works really well. It's probably squirrel hair. Let's keep going here. Waterfalls. I did a whole series of waterfalls, and this one I did not tape off, you can see. I like how it turned out. This probably could be a little lighter right here, these trees right here. In fact, if I had left more white in some areas, it probably would turn out better, but I did 20, 30 waterfalls. This is another Pisgah Forest. I'm going to kind of skip that one because you already saw a bunch of them. This is Thunder, my dog that you can hear tapping around out over there. And I was doing a very loose style. To see how I drew with pencil, and I would accentuate, push harder in some areas and lighter in others, and then I just use the brush to gently put in the color and then layered it up over the top of that. And he has a gangly look to him. All right, I was really getting into these watercolors like this. This is sort of, looks like a Japanese style with this brush. Everything is done with, well, almost everything is done with this brush. If it's not, I'll let you know. But I'm really loving, and this paper actually is Kali. I think it's called Kali, and I really got used to it. It takes some getting used to. I bought some, and it worked so well. It was beautiful, and it would just take the paint so beautifully. And then I bought a whole box of them, like, a big packet of them. They all worked really well. The next pack I bought repelled water. It was horrible. I even brought it back and got another pack, and the second pack also repelled water, which, if you're doing, a water-based painting and it's repelling the water you're putting into it, then that doesn't work. So, but I love the paper so much, and it worked so well the first time that I wanted to make it work, and I found a way to make it work, and that was to put down some pigment on the paper and let that dry first. after that, it would really absorb. So, and I'd put it down very light so that the whites would still come through. But yeah, if you're using this Kali handmade paper from India, it can be pretty finicky. All right, this is one of a local area where I go hiking, and I just wanted to hunker down and do as much detail as I possibly could. I was really looking at Wyeth at the time, and I've never shown this or tried to sell it, but I'm going to show you something. Where is that? I used a brush. Let me see if I can find this brush that was used for pinstriping cars, and I can't find it at the moment. I think it might be down in my other studio. But anyway, it comes to a fine point, and I just spent hours and hours and hours, just like, Wyeth maybe. Not any comparison whatsoever, but I used a very fine brush, and I just sat there and drew in as much grass as I could. So yeah, I don't know, it's an exercise. I'm more loose generally. So you can see this one's kind of loose looking at somebody like Turner. And I found that if I scratched into this Kali paper, it would show up sort of like a print ink, a print line, print intaglio line. And I really like how this turned out. It has a very atmospheric feel to it. This is one of the first successes I had. Just turned out. I love this. So beautiful. I love this little arch thing here. The color is warm and it's very loose, but you get a landscape feel for it. So that's. I need to frame this one, and eventually I think I will. So it's another one, kind of loose. This is one of the first ones I did that I was like, I felt, wow, this is really, I'm starting to get a feel for this paper, this paint, and this brush. And when I look back at it, it's okay. It's just kind of could use more layers. And later, I started getting more complex, building more layers, and it's far more successful. So anyway, I'm going to kind of skip through here. Here's some of the waterfalls. Real traditional landscape out at Sandy Mush. I was really doing a lot of landscapes. This is a little house I saw at Lake Junaluska, and I really like the pillbox looking house, and I think this successful little painting. For a while, I was doing like detailed grass and detailed grasses, and just spending time down in my studio, just meticulously drawing grass, and I did a bunch of these. I went to Cape Hatteras and painted some of the little lighthouses there. So I have a number. This is a different kind of paper, and you can see like this has texture to it, has surface, but this paper is smooth and you get a whole different feel for it. The greens are more vibrant. Though I think the white is sharper, brings out more of shows through the paint better, but you don't get the surface texture that you get in something like this. And that's what I like, the surface texture. More lighthouses. I'm going to skip around a little bit. Some more grasses. Here's another grass. Painting lots of grass. I did a bush nearby that is, I drive past it all the time, and it's up against this old utility building. And I just decided I wanted to do a very detailed painting of it. And I did about 3, sold a few, and I still have this one. It probably could be framed and sold down at the studio, but it's way on the back burner. It's not the direction I'm going with my work at all. Even though it's very detailed, people can go, "Whoa, you're so detailed. Look how detailed you are." But that's not what I'm going for whatsoever. So it's just kind of maybe an exercise, I guess. Yeah, I want to be loose. Let me see what else is worth showing you here. Guys, this is just full. Here's a nice little landscape. Waterscape I was doing. Water was so easy with this paper and this paint. And I really got into doing some, I was looking at Turner and getting into doing that atmospheric look. We're getting into some larger work here. I was having successes with the direction that it was going. I was going out hiking a lot and getting inspired by nature as always, and just really appreciating nature and wanting to carry that into the work. And so this is like 2 years of landscape work. And I was getting bigger and bigger. The work was getting larger and larger. I did a oil painting of this one, and it turned out very successful. And I actually sold that one, but it was exact same landscape. I did this landscape, the same landscape over and over again, a bunch of times. We're gonna run through here. This one, look at this sky. It's so beautiful. And you know, I did have a show where I put some of these in it. And I called it the Woodfin Show, and or paintings of Woodfin. That's what I called it, and I sold a bunch. This one's turned out really nice. I was doing birds for a while, doing paintings of flocks of birds. And I did an oil painting of this too that I ended up painting over because it works as a watercolor, but as an oil painting, I think there was too much not going on at the top. Out where I like to hike, I went out there one day and they had these tents that I guess they were doing some sort of an experiment out in the experimental forest. And I took some snapshots and did this painting of it. It makes me think that it's like teepees, but it turned out really nice. And I need to frame this, and somebody needs to buy it. I think that's all I'm gonna do now, unless there's anything else. Oh yeah, I'll show you this. I did basically out my front door over and over again. Like I did a bunch of paintings out my front door, and this is just right across the street. This is little house. This is a fence, but I was trying to do it as loose as possible, thinking about impressionists and just laying down patches of color. But I did a lot of these paintings and even in oil. In fact, I have another one right over there, but these paintings of Woodfin. That's all, guys. I think I'll put it away. And you know, I haven't looked at these in so long. It's kind of interesting to go back through. You really, when you get away from your work and you come back to it, you can really start to assess whether it was successful or not. at the time when you do it, you kind of are on a little bit of a high. That could be a little bit of an illusion, can kind of trick you into thinking it's good because you feel good while you're doing it. But when you set it aside and come back to it is when you can really get a objective view on whether it was a success or not. So just a little sharing. Thanks for coming along.